Hey there, my name is Aaron Corrigan. I've been a realtor for 2.5 years, currently in Cameron, North Carolina, working it's Dash, Carolina. We got offices in Raleigh and Fayetteville, and decided to make this little video for first-time homebuyers, VA clients, relocation, um, military, civilian, um, just journal knowledge, the process in buying and NC. So I hope this is helpful. I'm just going to dive right into it and sharing my screen. So this is not something that I came up with. This is actually a guide from my brokerage. And, we got these in physical form too. This is just the digital version. But just going right into it, North Carolina, you've got the WWREA, working with real estate agents disclosure. First substantial contact, you're supposed to have this filled out. And this is just designating if you're going to go unrepresented, if you're doing buyer agency, dual agency, like my firm doesn't allow that because we don't believe it gives the best interest to either side of the transaction. But this is not a contract. This is, even if you sign it, it's just basically saying that you read it, that you know that you can be represented through an agent, or you can be unrepresented through the seller, and the buyer is just a sub-agent of the seller, basically working with the seller or the listing agent. So you got some contents, the testimonials, Zillow partnership, defining your search map. This is all just stuff that's in this guide. So step by step, I'll kind of save you from all the fluff, but Dash Carolina has almost 1 billion 5-star reviews. Very dedicated, very good systems, very good agents and training. And that's where I got my training from. So getting into it, we do partner with Zillow. We are a premier agent partnership. We get leads from Zillow. Zillow takes a cut. So if you push that little button on Zillow, hopefully you get a Dash agent going to tour your next home. So and they just have this on our profile up top in Zillow. So typically when I'm doing a show, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get to know you. I'm going to try to get to know what you're looking for. I have a lot of military clients, pretty upfront, straightforward. First time home buyers, not hating on you, but most of the time don't really know what you're looking for. I got to look at a few houses to kind of figure it out. But these are things you should be thinking about probably before you even start searching. I know it takes a little while to pin this down, but townhome, there's the pros. You have less maintenance. The association takes care of the outside of the building and has insurance on it sometimes. Condo, you're a single person. You don't want to have to deal with yard maintenance or upkeep of a house. You're just responsible for the inside. Single family, everybody wants the American dream, right? Everybody wants a yard, fence, dog, some babies playing in the backyard, grilling out, tossing a football. That's not everybody's picture, but for the majority of the United States, I feel like probably is. Multifamily, do you want to live in one side with a VA loan? You can typically buy a duplex. You just have to move in within 60 days and occupy one of the properties. So you can do duplex, triplex, quadruplex. You're starting to get into 5 units. You're talking about a commercial loan. Garage. I've seen a lot of home gyms for the men and women out there. Do you need storage? What is the size requirements? And for those that are on contracts coming 3 or 4 years, just think about the rentability factor here. Are you going to be able to rent it out in the future? Is it going to get equity? What is your yard size? Do you have any pets? Are you going to be able to maintain that on your days off, or do you have other stuff that you like to do? Neighborhoods, if you're going to Fort Bragg, Fayetteville, there are some areas that are a little sketchier. Just keep in mind that this varies neighborhood by neighborhood. If you ask an agent, hey, is this a good neighborhood? Likely answer is that he's never lived there, he or she's never lived there. They don't know if it's particularly a good neighborhood, so it's kind of a case by case basis. We can tell you some general areas to stay away from. Bedrooms. Do you have kids? Do you plan to have kids? Are you single? Just depends. This is really a preference depending on the person. Doesn't matter if you have a family or not. What's your budget? I don't talk about financing at first. I like to keep it minimal as far as the financing aspect because not a lot of people like getting into that right off the bat. If they say, "Hey, I absolutely love this home," right? I need to know, what it's going to cost me as far as the prices. So keep in mind, you have purchase price, right? But you got property taxes, you've got homeowners insurance. Property taxes and homeowners insurance are bundled into the price in escrow, and they actually pay a premium from homeowners insurance, and you pay your property taxes every year through your payment. So that's bundled into this budget of monthly payment. You also have to keep in mind utilities. You have to keep in mind the monthly upkeep of the property, whether you have a pool, do you have some maintenance issues with the house that need to be addressed? Um, do you have solar panels that you have to pay? And that goes into your monthly budget as well. So just factor that in as well. HOA fees. If you're in a condo, you usually have a master association, you have a secondary association. Um, Townhomes as well, you're going to have an HOA, and that goes into your monthly payment unless you just pay it year by year annually. Most people just choose to do monthly. I know HOAs, right? You either love them or hate them. But if you are required to make that payment, and they go towards the general upkeep of the neighborhood and the community. Bathrooms, most people like to see two, right? Even if one's down or a bath's down, shower's down, for maintenance, you have another one available. If you got kids, this is usually a must. Deal breakers, no yard, there's cannons going off, there's gunfire going off, people are shooting, right? So that'd probably be a deal breaker for you. HOAs, I've heard a lot about HOAs being a deal breaker. Sometimes the general layout of the house, people are just looking for something specific. But getting into that stuff, it's really something that's prevalent to each and individual person and what they want. This is kind of the areas that we cover, just Raleigh, Central North Carolina, out in Fayetteville a lot. I do get a lot of people that want to be outside Fayetteville, not in Fayetteville. Not hating on it. I mean, it's just, kind of there's crime rates a little higher there. Not really supposed to talk about that being a licensed agent. But it is something that you need to be aware of. So there are some areas, Fort Bragg, around there. You're probably going to be max, probably Lillington, Dunn, Irwin, maybe Stedman, Rayford might be a little far. I've seen people looking as far as like Four Oaks, but that's a drive. It's a real far drive from Fort Bragg. First time homebuyers, Dash Carolina. This is kind of the general area that we work on the Raleigh market. We have an office in Raleigh. We have small office in Fayetteville. Fayetteville is a newer market for us, so we're working on that. Um, but this is just kind of getting into it. Like I said, I'm going to try to keep this brief, but we have a team of agents that are kind of tailored specifically maybe to your personality, your culture, and what you want to see. It could probably be language as well if you speak a certain language. We do have market analysts, so our agents are supported by market analysts. They can pull comps for a property while on the road. You've got offer writers, so if you're in a kind of a crunch and you need to, sorry, my cat's going crazy in the background. If you need to write an offer, or agent needs to write an offer, I mean, in a bind, and we have people that can get that started, and they pretty much just have to place the signatures on there and send it over to you. So this is just kind of the process that we have. Dash Carolina, we kind of have this motto about talking you out of the house. And if you continue to buy it, then it is a good house for you, or it might be the right house for you, because we're looking for roof, we're looking for AC, we're looking for water heater, we're checking out the foundation, we're looking for bowing in the floor. I mean, we're just kind of looking for anything like an inspector because one of the main points in North Carolina is that everything is as is when you buy a house. The seller's not required to fix anything. And that's just kind of getting into the process here for due diligence. So due diligence period in North Carolina is primarily dealing with earnest money. I'm sure it's the same in other states, but that period is typically 14 to 21 days. Now, if you don't have any earnest money on the contract, then due diligence period really doesn't have any effect other than kind of it makes you feel like you're protected. For buyers, you can back out basically from day one till the end. The only thing is, we also have something called due diligence fee that is very popular here. And due diligence fee and earnest money are not required at all. But basically, due diligence fee goes to straight to the seller. You send it to them electronically through a check. And if you exit the contract or decide you want to back out of the contract, then you do not get that back. Earnest money within due diligence period, if you back out, you can get that earnest money back. So, as far as due diligence period, it would only matter if you have earnest money. So it's a good time to get your inspections. It's best practice to have your repair list. We have something called a DDRA. It's a due diligence request and agreement that we send in North Carolina. Basically, just requesting the sellers to make the repairs because, again, they're not required to fix anything. They can also send you a credit for your closing costs as well. So one thing to keep in mind on a normal loan, not a VA loan, you do have a down payment and closing cost, and you have upfront cost as far as due diligence for your earnest money. You have inspections costs and appraisal fee as well, and then you're going to have closing costs at the end for attorney's fees, transfer taxes, deed recording fees, stuff like that. So just keep that in mind going through this process. And for VA, FHA loans, for the appraisal, there is an addendum that we like to put on the contract and basically just protecting you if it under appraises. For VA, it says you can back out and keep your earnest money. Same thing for FHA. You can back out and keep your earnest money if the house under appraises. The seller does have the option to lower the purchase price of the home if it under appraises in value. And also the contract, we are negotiators. Everything, all the offer terms are run by you, but we have the official forms, official documentations that were drafted by attorneys to the board of attorneys to make the forms legally sufficient in a court. So just to recap, you've got sellers' homes or as is, due diligence period. Due diligence period doesn't matter unless you have earnest money. If you put due diligence fee down, you do not get that back if you exit the contract. Now, due diligence fee comes off the purchase price at the end if you stay in. Earnest money comes off of your closing costs at the end. So, and this is just kind of getting into that as well. To anyone that's interested, I can send this over. Again, I didn't make this. This is through my brokerage. But here, due diligence fee is a non-refundable deposit. Gives you the right to inspect the home, but if you back out, you don't get that back. And reasons that buyers walk away, financing falls through, unexpected life event, your orders change. You find another house that you like better, and you're willing to just kind of sacrifice the due diligence fee to get out of the contract, get into something better. So just keep in mind that you do have the power to exit the contract. It's just you might lose some money just depending on the time frame of when you choose to here. And it says as is, sellers aren't required to fix anything. So, and this is something else, just a general guide. I was going to plan to get into this as well. So, do I have to pay my agent? The answer is you could technically have to pay your agent. but about 90% of the time, the seller is going to comp the agent and pay the compensation because the seller is getting a large chunk of money at the end. Now, there are certain circumstances where the seller is not willing to pay that. And in my personal experience, I'm going to ask if the seller's offering comp before I get the buyer to give me the offer terms because nobody wants to put in the offer, get it signed, and then realize that you actually have to pay my compensation, which in most cases is 2.4 to 3% of the purchase price. And just another thing, so you realize when we meet you on Zillow, Zillow actually takes a cut. And then the brokerage is usually a split brokerage. So they're doing like 50-50, 60-40, something like that. So just keep that in mind. But I would say about 90% of the time, no, buyers do not have to pay their agent. The appraisal, is basically just going to tell you what market value of the house is. For conventional loans, it's not technically an appraisal. They come and measure, they take pictures of it, make sure it's in good condition. For FHA, USDA, and VA, they're a little more strict. They're looking at the structure. They want to make sure that the value is worth, what the lender is willing to pay to give you the loan on. So fixture, personal property. Fixture would be like got here ceiling fans, TV brackets, light fixtures. If it basically, and I've heard before, if you tip the house upside down and shake it, anything that falls out is not a fixture. But for everything that I've done in North Carolina, we ask for all of the appliances anyway, unless you specifically do not want any of their appliances. And then I just say, you know what, if they're giving it to you, just sell them, or give them to Habitat for Humanity. Maybe somebody else can use them. So here we were talking about down payment, just kind of your budget. Down payment, you're typically looking 2 to 3% of the purchase price. VA, you have no down payment. USDA, you have no down payment. So FHA, you're probably looking about 3.5, and then you got 3% closing costs. Conventional, you're probably looking about 5%, and then you have closing costs about 3% as well. How long does it take to go? So typically with cash, I say 21 days. This 10 to 14 seems to be a little short. You're kind of just putting everyone on blast, trying to push through the contract. With financing, 30 days minimum. So while you're doing these tours out in Fayetteville, Raleigh area, things to look for, condition of roof, and this is really where agents kind of kick in and have experience. It just depends. I have a lot of kind of construction experience in my background and working in new construction houses. So just attention to detail. If the agent misses something, maybe just kindly tell them, hey, what do you think about this? And a good agent should be able to tell you about the type of material of the roof, the condition, the age, those type of things. Type of siding, like we've got vinyl, masonite, we've got siding that's wood, so it just depends on the area, the type of houses and the builder. Age, condition, HVAC. HVAC is usually going to last 15 to 20 years. If you're past 10, it's not really a huge hit. Just check the condition of it. The inspector would be able to tell you more. Water heater, you're going to get about 8 to 12 years. You can replace the elements on these to make them last a little longer. In Raleigh area, you've got flight path you need to worry about from the airport. Like I said, Fayetteville area, they do have cannons and machine gun fire going off near the base. You will be able to hear that. And then there is actually road noise from 540 that we check for as well. Evidence of leaks, you're going to have black spots, yellow spots in the ceiling. You're going to have bowing floors, and you're going to usually have some type of evidence or marker that it is having a leak or had leak as well. The rainwater runoff. A lot of times when you see a driveway that's slanted, it's a huge turnoff most of the time, just looking at the overall grading of the property if the driveway and land runs back towards the house. A lot of times it doesn't sell as well, and there's a major concern for, foundation structural issues, foundation cracks. It depends on the type of crack, vertical to side. Is it a large crack or is it kind of like a quarter-inch crack that can be fixed? If you have a large shift, then you definitely need to look into, is it going to need some foundation work? HOA guidelines, covenants, restrictions. Like, do you have jet skis? You like to take the pontoon boat out, pop a couple brewskis, do some fishing. A lot of HOAs won't let you have the boat on the premises. You got to put it in a storage unit. Cosmetic, paint, holes in walls. Does it have bad lighting, weird furniture, slightly off smell? Definitely want to investigate that, right? But everything else is kind of cosmetic. The seller's not worried about this, guys. You can put some paint on it. I know for a lot of people, it could be a deal breaker just based off how much paint needs to be done to the house. But just know that the sellers probably aren't gonna try to fix that. So they have this here, the out of pocket cost home inspection, 450 plus. I'm sitting about 575 with a regular home inspection plus termite for free, and a radon test usually runs about $150. So HVAC, these prices, I would get with your HVAC contractor or these contractors here. Like I said, with at least one of the inspectors that I use, they comp the termite and you just get that for free. With VA loans, you're required to get termite inspection. If you have septic, you have to get septic inspection. If you have well, you have to get a well inspection as well. Radon tests, it's good to have. You just never know. I mean, you can just walk into any old house and it has a high radon reading. It's bad, man. You just need to get that test, and then if it is, might consider looking into abatement options to get that corrected. Well inspection, like I said, if you're VA, you're required to get that done. Septic and well, it's always a good thing to get those inspected while you're getting it done. Survey, $600 plus. I'm actually leaning more towards $1,000, $2,000 for that, guys. Appraisal, $800 is kind of the minimum right now, is what I'm seeing as far as at least BA, and just did a DSCR loan, so that was $800. Due diligence is running about 1% average. Given this is the Raleigh market, this is where it's competitive. Earnest money, I would say, depends on the purchase price, 1% as well. And most price ranges that I see in the Fayetteville market, it's not expensive. I'm looking like 500 to $1,000. It just depends on, if you have multiple offers. If you do have multiple offers, then you need to look in putting in down more due diligence, or more earnest money, and possibly upping the purchase price. I mean, your agent should be able to tell you that. Attorney fees, you're looking at, this is about accurate, $900,000. Title insurance, part of your closing costs. Hazard insurance, escrow for taxes, insurance. We were talking about that earlier. So we have these tools here. We have tax data. The MLS gives us coming soon properties. It gives us properties that are off market. Collateral analytics is a tool to get value for houses. Redfin, Zillow, RPR. This is what we use to pull comps on properties. And when we do our PSPs, the probable sales price, this is kind of what we're using here. And this is a range basically that is in the PSP that we give you. So, and these offer terms, this is basically all stuff that we ask you, what do you want to pay? So, we can give you a recommendation based on the comps. This is all your choice. Due diligence fee, ask the agent, depends on the price of the property. If you have multiple offers, earnest money as well. Closing date, just depends. Are you you wanting to wait 60 days, 30 days? It just depends on your situation, your lease date, financing type, BA, USDA, conventional, FHA, DSCR. You do have some bank statement loans, stuff like that. Repairs, concessions. So those closing costs we were talking about, I usually try to get those covered with the offer. So anytime I write an offer, I have closing costs in there, try to get those covered because a lot of times you already have a down payment. VA guys, you don't. But for regular loans, concessions, I usually try to get those covered so you can get into the house without having to pay too much. You already have to pay the mortgage, right? You want to pay closing costs as well. So this is the process, and I'm just gonna do a slight recap too. So offer accepted, you got your offer terms, due diligence period, due diligence fee, earnest money, 30 days closing, preferred attorney. You can have the sellers write a home warranty into the contract as well. So after that, due diligence period begins. And this, again, this only applies to earnest money. If you don't have earnest money in the contract, you can back out from day one till day 30, 35. Home inspection, get your home inspected. And then, if we have some stuff we need to get fixed, you can throw it on the DDRA, send it to the seller, see what they're willing to fix, and we'll have negotiations. If they're not willing to fix, I'll try to usually get a credit towards your closing costs. Appraisal order, this will probably be towards the end. And, just recapping as well, this is all spread out, right? So due diligence fee is due upon signing the contract. Earnest money is due within 48 hours, 48, 72 hours. Home inspection will probably be like a week out, depending on the season. Appraisal will be towards the end. So it's not like you got to, kind of bite the bullet on all this right up front. You get your conditional approval on the loan. You do final walkthrough and make sure the repairs are complete. Go to the attorney's office and then get your keys. So like I said, with the recap of everything, like I said, I can send this guide to you as well. And I hope this kind of helped some people as far as moving to North Carolina. If you have any questions, just give me a call. I'm pretty straightforward on everything. I don't give you a lot of fluff. I'm not really trying to sell you a house. I'm just trying to make sure you get into a house that's safe for you. And again, this is Aaron Corrigan from Dash Carolina, working in North Carolina, Fayetteville, Raleigh area. And I hope you have a great day and I'll be talking to you soon. Bye.